Icon is one of the important meetings we have here in the church because basically parenting is very challenging nowadays. It is not an easy job at all to raise up kids. And I can say something based on the service that the devil attack homes more than the churches. Because basically the devil try to target the houses to break up not only the churches but the body of Christ at all. So be alert when you deal with your kids. You are not dealing with your little baby and you just wanna see him or her like you. You are dealing with the future leaders of the church. You are dealing with even the people gonna lead the humanity to be a better person in the future. So now we're gonna start with our father, a short prayer, and we have Monica. She is from Florida, my hometown, and she has master degree, and also she have a great service with Abuna Yokim for the special special جدع شاطر اللي قالت عليه ده special lead convention يعني God bless her service. We're gonna start with a short prayer and I need your prayer for the service. تفضل يا ولاد. The name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. O Lord Jesus Christ, have us to glorify your holy name and do what is pleasing to you every time, anywhere. Through intercession of Saint Mary and Mark, because we're to be thank for our cause. Heart in heaven. The name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Alright. Hi everybody. Some of you guys know me from before I became a Floridian according to Abuna. So truly I'm Egyptian / Texan. So those of you that know me, I am so honored to be back here and be able to present to some of you guys that served with me back in St. Philippe's Church in Awana. So you guys know me. Hopefully I grew some from back then until now. But I have my daughter now who is 3 years old and I do serve in the ARM convention in Florida, the special needs convention that the diocese does. So I've heard a lot of people give talks and I've seen people that stuck with me and they give me more experience. I also used to work as a paraprofessional in Frisco ISD for 2 years before I got married, and now I'm currently a teacher in Florida. I taught 4th grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and then currently I'm going to be working with the special needs in my school. So I kind of have a spectrum of different things that I have worked. بتكلم عربي فلو حد عايز عربي just let me know. I don't feel offended بس في كلمات مش عارفة مصطلح بالظبط بالعربي. So I do have a master's degree in applied behavior analysis is سلوكيات الطفل. أخدت الماسترز بتاعتي through the University of West Florida فعندي الاكسبيرينس مع الإديوكيشن. بنعمة ربنا أقدر أفيدكم بمعلومات لو حد عنده أسئلة يقدر يسألني. I do work with a behavior analyst on weekly basis. I meet with her فلو في حد عنده سؤال who I don't know the answer for, please let me know. I will give you my email at the end after the workshop وممكن أجيب لكم الإجابة المظبوطة لو أنا مش عارفاها. So today's agenda, there's going to be 4 different things that we're going to talk about. أول حاجة time management self-discipline. تاني حاجة reinforcement. ثالث حاجة social skills وازاي نتيتش الطفل social skill. ورابع حاجة medical conditions وازاي دي لها عامل مهم في حياة الطفل إذا كان عمره طفل صغير لسه مولود أو لو adolescent, it affects their behavior throughout. First of all, the time management دي النقطة اللي هنتكلم عليها. هتكلم على كل واحدة بالتفصيل. حاجة اسمها priming. Second thing is task analysis. Third one is something I personally use, counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all done. Visual timer, and there's going to be an app I'm going to show you how to use that you can put on your phone. Giving choices. حاجة اسمها behavior momentum أو easy hard. And then the last one is self-monitoring. So I'm going to go in deep for كل حاجة من دول. First of all, priming. What is priming? Priming is helping prepare children for an upcoming activity or event they normally have difficulty with. بنجهزهم لحاجة صعبة هيعملوها إن إحنا نقول لهم قبليها ما نفاجئهمش. We as people don't like shocks. We don't like something that's coming up as a pop quiz. لو في حد ياخد امتحان مفاجئ, nobody likes that. We don't like surprises, things that you're gonna like. So priming is when you tell the child حاجة هتحصل قبليها and you're kind of preparing them mentally for what's to come. So, for example, here the example that I have, it says if you know a certain family member that your child loves won't come to their birthday party, tell them ahead of time so they can be prepared. So they're less likely to throw a fit or a tantrum if they know ahead of time. لو حد جاي عندكم وبعد كده cancel, don't wait until ساعتها. قول له قبلها فلان مش جاي، تيتا مش جايه، تيتا تعبانه، او ابونا مش موجود النهارده في القداس، هيكون في ابونا تاني. هيبقى عارف لما يجي مش هيبقى متفاجئ، وهتبقى الحاجه دي shocking بالنسبه له. ممكن يتضايق قبليها وثرو تانترم دي، بس هتكون يعني اسهل شويه من ان هو يكتشف المفاجاه الحزينه دي في وقتها. So that's the first thing to prime, and you prime at any age. لو طفل صغير لو عنده سنة أو سنتين قول له واحكي معاه كأنه هو بيفهم، يعني كأنه هو شخص كبير بيفهم الحاجة اللي حاصلة. Next one, it's called task analysis. Task analysis is when you take حاجة صعبة activity ليه خطوات كتيرة وبنقسمها. الخطوات دي بتجهز ان الطفل يبقى عنده independency. It teaches them a multi steps and it becomes easier for them to learn الحاجة دي. independence مهمة خالص ان هم يبقى عندهم اعتماد على النفس، ان هم بيعملوا حاجة لوحدهم. الاكزاكت instructions مهمة ان تديله الدايركشنز. ما ينفعش اقول للطفل لسه ما اتعلمش مثلا يغسل سنانه روح اغسل سنانك. they're not gonna know معناها ايه دي. لازم نشرح بالتفاصيل ان هو لازم ياخد الفرشه ويحط ميه ويحط المعجون ويعملها في بقه، وبعد كده يطفي الميه ويحط ميه نظيفه، وكل الخطوات دي. لما انا بقول اغسل سنانك دي ممكن اقولها لطفل عنده 10 سنين اتعود على الحاجه دي وخلاص عارف بيعملها ازاي، فنقدر نقول له وهو يعملها لوحده. لكن لو هو مش عارف الخطوات دي، لو طفل 4 سنين، لو طفل 3 سنين، مش هيعرف الخطوات وهيعملها غلط، واحنا هنتضايق ان هو ما غسلش سنانه. طب هو ناسي الخطوات او مش عارف الخطوات اللي بالظبط. I'm gonna show you guys a funny video. ده يعني it has humor but also it teaches the concept of a task analysis. ده task analysis بس بالعكس. الابناء هم اللي كاتبين خطوات لباباهم يعمل حاجه معينه، وهو بيمشي عليها بالظبط بالطريقه اللي هم بيقولوها له. فهنشوف ازاي الدنيا كانت صعبه شويه معاهم في الاول. So it's hard. It's very lengthy. It takes time, as we can see. يعني الفيديو ده they made it to go faster. But task analysis takes a while. بس احنا لو بنحاول to teach our child something that's like making a sandwich, they're not going to learn in one day. بالذات لو عندنا language barrier. لو احنا الانجليش بتاعنا مش 100%، ساعات بنقول مصطلح هما مش فاهمينه او هما مش مستوعبين واحنا بنتعصب. ف it's okay if we learn. It's okay to look it up. يعني it's easy to Google. I'm going to show you guys some examples here. Task analysis for cleaning on dish. الخطوات مكتوبة. يعني tell them stand up, place silverware napkin on a plate, pick up plate on bowl. يعني كل الخطوات مكتوبة خطوة بخطوة، وساعات بيعرفوا يعملوا خطوة لوحدهم أو خطوتين. We should praise them. نحفزهم إن هم مثلا حطوا طبق في الحوض. يعني my daughter's 3. She knows how to put plastic silver, يعني plastic cups or plastic plates. She puts it in a sink. She throws it in a sink, but it's plastic. It's not gonna break. So I praise her. But now I know إن أنا ما اديهاش حاجة مثلا ceramic أو glass عشان ما تتكسرش. بس وبعد كده خطوة بخطوة هعلمها إن هي تقف على كرسي وتحطها safely وهكذا. لازم نستوعب الابيلتي بتاعت الطفل. ولو الطفل عنده مثلا medical condition أو الطفل تعبان مثلا sleepy or tired or they've been sick for a few days, that's gonna affect their performance. لو هو تعبان مش هيقدر يعمل الحاجة اللي بيعملها على طول. We do realize that when our kids are sick they يعني drop down in age like 6 years. فالطفل اللي بيبقى عنده 12 سنة بنحس ان هو في حضانة because their body can't handle it. So a task analysis is a great way to teach different skills, and you guys are going to get to practice a little bit in a workshop later مش بالpeanut butter, so it's without peanut butter today. So this is another example. Drinking from a glass cup when seated at a table. You have all the different steps and you walk them through it. مش لازم تبقى مطبوعة بس for us to see الخطوة بخطوة، لأن خطوة missing it messes up the whole process. زي ما شفنا بالأب إن هو لما قال يعني الطفل قال the top of the bread he put it on the top and not the face of the bread. So that matters. يعني الخطوة specific دي بتساعدهم إن هم يبقوا successful. And this one is just a third example, eating with a spoon. Also الخطوات هيها. They use this a lot in special education for ABA. But you also can use it with any child. لو في خطوات لو مثلا teaching them how to put laundry in the dishwasher or laundry or using a dishwasher or doing a chore مثلا vacuuming the house. إن هم ازاي يروحوا أوضة ويشيلوا اللعب أو يشيلوا الكراسي وهكذا عشان successfully be independent. وده هيسهل علينا in the future إن هم they know how to do these things on their own. I have a whole file that has these in it. لو حد عايزه, when I give you my email me and I can send you the file. And I can also make you a task analysis. لو في حاجة طفل صعبة إن هو يعملها أقسمها خطوات. Like potty training, you do it in different steps to be able to like sit on the toilet, take clothes off, and be able to sit and wipe and so forth. تاني حاجة أتكلم عليها counting 5 4 3 2 1 all done. Those of you that know me, I use this a lot with my daughter and I used to use it a lot when she was younger. I learned this from the special education teacher that I worked with in Frisco ISD. This is a great transition للطفل إن هو ينقل من حاجة لحاجة, بالذات لو الحاجة اللي بيعملها الأولانية it's something that's fun and they don't want to leave it. You can't just say, oh, you're done with iPad and you just take it. If I do that with you, if you're using your phone right now and I come and snatch it, you're not going to like that. Okay? So we have to think, even if they're 2 years old, even if they're 1 year old, they're not going to like that. محدش بيحب إن حد يخطف حاجة من إيده. So prepare them قبليها. Tell them, okay, in 2 minutes we're going to be leaving, or in 3 minutes we're going to be putting our iPad so we can eat. And then as we do the activity, as we're about to go take it from them, we are going to count down slowly, teaching them إن إحنا الحاجة دي هتبقى finished. So I'm going to say, like if this is my toddler with a water bottle and I'm going to go get the water bottle. All right, mommy's going to take the water bottle in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All done with water bottle. Let's go. So I'm making them hear that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 slowly. So they know when they start hearing me, mommy's going to take that away. Another resource that I use for transitioning, and an element activity, if you guys have Alexa at home, Alexa is a great resource to use for transitioning from one activity to the other. بحيث إن الطفل ما يحسش إن as a parent you're the one who's telling them to stop the activity. They're hearing it from Alexa. Alexa said all done. So if you guys can read on the last point, so I said use Alexa to set a timer for you so you're not the bad cop. And what I do when I hear Alexa go off when the timer says, "Oh, Abby's all done with iPad," said, "Oh no, I wanted to do iPad too, but Alexa said we have to clean up. I'm so sad, but we have to go." So you're not the one who's telling them to clean up. Now it's coming from somebody else, so they hate you. Now they're gonna hate Alexa, which is totally okay because Alexa's not their mom. So it's coming from someone else. I use timers all the time with my phone if I'm outside in a restaurant or something and we have to leave in a restaurant, especially some of the restaurants that have like the iPads at the table where you pay for it. I do that. I set up a timer on my phone and I pretend like I didn't set it up. I'm like, oops, the timer is gone. We have to go. So you're not the one that's in response. It's the timer or the Alexa that told you to go. So that's a resource to use. This is the resource I told you guys that you can download on your phone. It's an app. It's a visual timer app. The timer itself, it's called the Countdown, and it has this image, the image of the ducky. And the idea of it, it's for younger learners. لو حد مش فاهم فكرة الوقت، فكرة فاضل 5 دقايق، فكرة فاضل 10 دقايق, if they see the app, they're gonna start seeing that the picture of the duck is starting to be completed. ولما الصورة بتكمل, that means timer is up and the timer is gonna go off. بس الميزة في الاب ده, if you guys see the 2 little yellow buttons on the right and the left, you can take 10 seconds away or you can add 10 seconds. دي مهمة خالص لو انت عملت مثلا 5-minute timer for your son or your daughter to clean up their toys. وهم في الأول they took their time because my daughter does that, and then like آخر دقيقة they were like doing so good and like you're like, oh, I can't turn off the timer because I already had it set up. They're gonna feel like a failure because they didn't finish their task. You can add a few extra seconds for them. If you click on the extra 10 seconds, you can add extra. Or you can take away. لو هم خلصوا within a minute and the timer still has 5 minutes left, take a few seconds from it, so to help them move on to مثلا dinner or next activity. So this is a free app that I've had on my phone and I use all the time. You can use it for getting dressed. You can use it for getting out of the door, brushing teeth, cleaning up toys. أي حاجة سهلة معانا على التليفون نقدر نفتحه بسهولة, and it's not hard at all. Teach them how to use it first. يعني هم, if they're younger, if they're maybe like younger than 5 years old, try to show them the app. Say, oh, mommy's gonna set up a timer. Mommy's gonna see if she can wash the dishes in 10 minutes, and like they can get to see, oh, mommy, you did a good job. You beat the ducky. You finished before the ducky's done. So that way they can see it. And there's other images that you can also see on there. It's a fun app. I personally like it. Next tip to give, which as Egyptians we are not the best at, I will be very honest with you, is giving choices. ان احنا ندي الطفل حق الاختيار. دي حاجة as a parent I know I struggle with all the time because I said so. أنا قلت هنروح كده. أنا قلت هنلبس ده. And that's how I get raised, and I know that it's a little tricky as a parent because you don't feel you're in control. But it's okay. You're in control of many things. في حاجات it's okay to let your child be in control of. For example, لو هما مثلا صبح give you hard time وهم رايحين المدرسة, let them choose their clothes. Get them out 2 long sleeve shirts that لو لبسوا ده أو ده, it's not a problem. A purple one and a blue one, and let them choose. Or their socks, let them choose whatever color socks as long as they wear socks. Or shoes, give them 2 different closed shoe shoes that they can wear for school and let them choose. The more they do it, the faster they're gonna get at it. And what I do is I give 2 choices and I say, okay, choose the pink one or the purple one. If you don't choose, mommy's gonna choose for you. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mommy, choose the blue one. Okay, let's go. So now they know that next time when I give them that choice, if they don't choose quickly, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna choose for them. So they're gonna want to choose next time. Even if they don't like the 2 choices, هيحاولوا يختاروا حاجة منها. When can you give choices? Because as a parent, we're on the go, go, go. I know I work full time and it's hard to let your child take their sweet time doing anything. فاديتكم أفكار ممكن إمتى تديهم الحقية في الاختيار. Order of events. Example, do you want to shower first or eat breakfast first? لو احنا مثلا يوم السبت رايحين عند مثلا تيتا at noon. Okay, they can eat breakfast or shower. It doesn't matter. الحاجتين هيحصلوا within an hour span. Why does it matter? مش لازم يفطروا الأول, لأن لو فطروا 8 الصبح من 8:30, does it really matter to us? Does it really matter? Not really. But in our head, we know لازم يفطروا أول ما يقوم. But if they have breakfast 30 minutes late, it really doesn't matter. And Honestly, nobody cares. They don't care, you don't care. But as a parent, you're like, you have to have breakfast now. Well, it's just 30 minutes late. Let them choose. If they choose shower, great. If they choose breakfast, great. But huma, they did both things. The material, the color being used for a chore. Do you want to clean up with a wipe or do you want to clean up with a paper towel? They just spilled milk all over the floor. They're still going to clean it. I'm not saying clean it up. Give them choice, paper towel or wipe. And they're going to grab it and they're going to clean it up and you're going to praise them because they did it. But now they felt like mama didn't tell me. I got to choose the paper towels or I got to choose the baby wipes. Okay? Another one is timing. Now or in 5 minutes. Do you want to shower now or do you want to shower in 5 minutes? Okay? You might be surprised. Like I did this 2 days ago with my daughter and I told her something like, do you want to go now or in 5 minutes? And I knew she was going to say in 5 minutes. She's like, I want to go now. I was like, okay, let's go now. So it's, try it out and kind of think, when can you give them choices? Because at certain times, you can't give them a choice. Okay? At certain times, you can't do that. But let's say they sit in a car, okay, and you have 2 car seats. Maybe have them choose which car seat or have them which jacket to grab. There's a lot of opportunity for choice. في وقت كتير بنقدر نديهم الاختيارات بس احنا بنبقى حاطين في دماغنا لا هو هينزل بده او هو هيلبس ده او هي هتاكل ده. لو هي مثلا هتاكل fruit, you have blueberries and bananas. Let them choose. Both of them are healthy choices. So when they have that choice, they're more willing to comply. لأن هما في دماغهم I was in control. Not mommy told me to eat this or not daddy told me to eat this. Last thing, location of an activity. Do you want to do your homework on the dining table or in your room? This is something that's easy. It's not hard. They still have to do their homework, but now they felt like it's something big. When I taught my first year in Florida, I used to give some of my students that were a student specifically that had ADHD. He could choose to sit at his desk or he could choose to sit under my desk. I had a little space, and he always chose to sit under my desk. But every time he sat under my desk, he did his work because he felt like he has the choice. So this is very big. And like I said, I feel like our community does not have this mentality a whole lot. So that's why I wanted to make sure we get to see it. This is going to be a little video that explains it. So again, giving choices is hard at times, but try to see if you can implement it in your daily events by maybe choosing one of these or more if possible. Next, we're going to talk about something called behavioral momentum, which in the middle, and it's a strategy to help children learn to cooperate with adult requests. Just like the rock and roll down a hill, get a child heading in the right direction, behaviorally speaking, and it's unlikely that they'll reverse themselves. So basically, those are the steps. So start with step 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you starting to see your child is about to misbehave or they've misbehaved in the past hour a lot, give them easy things that they can do very easily without problem and praise them a whole lot before you ask them to do a big task. So think about the big task that you want them to do. Maybe you want them to go get dressed because we're going to church. and you know that they always give you a hard time, or they have given you a hard time in the morning so far in different occasions. Ask them to do big things or small things before the big thing. So first, like, oh, can you pick up this towel from the floor? And they pick it up. Oh, great job, Johnny, picking up the towel. Mommy's gonna clap for you. Next, can you put this plate away on your desk? Or can you put this crayon up? So one thing, yani putting one item, a towel, something, picking up something off the floor that they're more likely to do, especially if they're older, and praise them. So you ask them for 3 different things that are super easy, or 2 different things that are super easy, and then ask them for the big thing. They're more likely to comply because they have just complied multiple times back to back. So it's almost like brainwashing them in a good way. So you give them the one command, praise, and then one command, praise, and then ask them for the thing that's harder, and now they're more likely to comply with you. Okay? So this is called the behavioral momentum. It's called easy, easy, hard, and it's to help them feel successful because they just got praised and احنا قلنا لهم good job or gave them a high five back to back. Now they're more likely to go ahead and comply the next time. Why use that? Why use the behavior momentum? Just ask them to do the hard thing. Go get dressed for church. This is to increase their the likelihood of them repeating the certain action in the future. And Homa, next time, when you ask them to get dressed up, they're more likely to get dressed up faster. Increases the compliance by creating multiple opportunities for success. We don't tell our children enough, you did a great job. Sometimes we forget to say that because they have been doing great job. This is also really good if you have a child maybe 4 or 5 years old and you just had given birth to a baby, and now they're giving you a hard time, a lot of hard time of everything. Now they don't want to pick up their toys. Now they don't want to go to the bathroom by themselves. Why? Because they see that you're doing everything for the baby, so mommy can do that for me too. So this is really good to kind of give them those praises. Oh, you just went and washed your hand, like مثلا 7 سنين. They've been doing it for years by themselves, but now when you praise them for it, they're like, oh, okay, now mommy recognizes that I have been doing this great thing. So this is why we could use the behavioral momentum. All right. Next, we're going to be talking about self-monitoring. This is a way for us to be able to help our children become a little bit more independent. So this is for older kids or kids that can see what they're capable of doing. So if we can read here, it says parents feed their prompts, verbal requests, because the learner can keep up with the chores independently. So maybe they have chores of washing dishes and cleaning up their room, but they forget. So now they can do a little bit of a self-monitoring. A checklist. I said I personally had one for Sunday school as a kid. When I was in Sunday school in Egypt, I had this paper, and I remember until now, it has a picture of the sun for like 7, and then a picture of the moon, 7. And each day when I prayed in the morning, I colored the sun, and I prayed at night, I colored the moon. So this is a way for me as a child, 6 years old, I know that if I color the sun, I prayed in the morning. I colored the moon, I prayed at night. So even if I forget, like as a kid, I know I would color multiple at a time, but I know in my head, oh my god, I forgot to color. So like this is a way for me ان انا افتكر ان انا اعمل حاجه اللي انا مسؤول اعملها, and to keep me independent. There's different ways. I know some children use it at school. If they maybe have behaviors at school, they have certain way to do a checklist at school. Maybe, okay, teacher didn't yell at me today, or I didn't put hands on friends or anything like that. So this is self-monitoring, but it's not at home, it's at school. Journaling is a way. There's different ways like self-graphing, maybe seeing how many sight words or how many multiplication facts they can get correct independently. So they can do this at home when they're practicing mal spelling words or other academical instances that they could use it. So this is called self-monitoring, and it's a little bit for the older kids. This is one that's really, really big: reinforcement versus punishment. Punishment is hugely used in Egypt. As a child that grew up in Egypt, I know that we first عقاب. هتتعاقب على اللي عملته. اتشقيت في الكنيسة هتتعاقب. You were at somebody's house and you broke something. عقاب. Okay, so punishment is one of the ways to try to fix the behavior, and it's decreasing a behavior we want to see in the future by taking away something. I'm going to take away your toys. I'm going to take away your phone. taking away is not necessarily the best way. Punishment, yani, for behavioral analysis in the US and overall, punishment is not to be used unless the reinforcement is not working. We always try to use reinforcement. بنحاول نحفزهم بحاجة قبل ما نعاقبهم. Okay, I'm going to say that again. بنحاول نحفزهم بحاجة. We always try to use the reinforcement before we punish them. Why? Because nobody likes punishment. If you walked in late one time at work and your boss said, "Oh, I'm going to deduct, I don't know, $200 from your paycheck," you're going to be very angry. He's taking away money because you walked in one time late. You're not going to like that. But if you walked in late and another time late and another time you walked in on time and says, "Oh, good morning, thank you for coming on time," you're more likely, oh, he recognizes when I come in early. You're more likely to do it in the future ومش حاسس متضايق because nothing got taken away from you. So reinforcement could be different ways, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm also going to talk about feeding reinforcement. Feeding reinforcement is as the child grows, you slow down the reinforcement. So I put down the potty training example. When you have a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old that's potty training, you're always like, every time they go to the bathroom, it's a big celebration. I still do with my daughter. Every time she goes to the bathroom, it's like she just won the prize, right? Like, good job going in a potty. Like, you did not have an accident today, right? But if you have a 10-year-old, you never praise them. Why? Because there's a natural consequence. They know the fact that they stay dry, that's a good thing, and it feels good. And if they ever have an accident, they feel horrible, okay? So when the child grows up, you slow down the reinforcement شوية بشوية depending on the skill. If it's a skill that they just learned, maybe they're 10 years old and they learned how to wash dishes, you make a big deal of it because they just learned it, okay? Here, I'm going to talk about the functions of behavior. This is why kids do certain things, okay? And I'm not going to talk about it too much, but this is kind of a good visual for us to see. Kids usually do any behavior for one of those 4 reasons. Sensory, it feels good to them, okay? That stimulation, like a little kid maybe sucking their thumb. They don't do it for anything. It just feels good. The baby feels good when it puts, the thumb in their mouth, okay? Next one, escape. They will cry to get out of liturgy, and what's going to happen? Mama's going to take them outside. They just got out of liturgy. Great job, right? In their head, they escape because liturgy to them is not reinforcing. Abuna is praying, deacons are praying, and they just have to stand still, no toys. But if I cry, if I yell, Mama's going to take me outside. I get to have all the toys. So this is escape. They're escaping. They're leaving a boring activity or an undesired activity. Next, attention, okay? When we see little kids, my daughter does all the time. She knows in the back of the church, if she screams, guess what? 60 people are going to turn back and look at her. So she just gained attention from everybody, okay? So this is another way a child will do a behavior. And then tangible, okay? Tangible is something they're going to get. A piece of candy, a popsicle, a new toy, an iPad. So something that they hold on to that they like, okay? So kind of think when your child does anything that you didn't tell them to do, they're doing it for one of those 4 reasons, okay? So how can we reinforce? Now we know that they are trying to get our attention, they're trying to get a tangible, they're trying to feel good, or they're trying to escape, get out of a boring activity, okay? Natural, direct reinforcers. Those are reinforcers that kind of make them feel good. When you go to the bathroom, that's a natural reinforcer. You feel good. Your tummy feels good. Nobody's telling you anything. You personally feel good, okay? When you eat or maybe you drink a cold water and it's hot outside, you feel good. You kind of feel chill, okay? So that's a natural reinforcer. Social reinforcer includes verbal or written nonverbal expressions of praise. Oh, great job coming to church on time, or nice job putting your toys away. So that's a social reinforcer. People are telling you. Activity reinforcement, an iPad, or I don't know, all the different technology things for kids, but all the PS3 and PS5 and all those different things, that's an activity that they like. Nobody likes to, play outside as much as we did when we were kids. So this is a natural, that's an activity that they get to enjoy. And then a tangible, that's something that they have. Okay, collecting money to buy something, or being able to have points. I know some of you guys, maybe you're the students in the school, they use Class Dojo. The teacher gives them a tangible, which are the points, and they can buy with the dojo points, they can buy something from a store. So these are different ways to reinforce your child if they're having a hard time with something, okay? This is one of the ABA strategies that we use, and it's very helpful. It's called differential reinforcement of alternative behavior. The acronym is DRA. I'm going to explain it because it's a little bit tricky, but once I explain it, you're going to get the hang of it. So its application reduces the behaviors viewed as negative by reinforcement alternative behaviors as appropriate. And the example is a child who demands fruit from his parents. Each time he makes a demand by shouting or crying or banging his head, his parents ignore him. But when he asks politely, they turn and acknowledge him and satisfies his request. So alternative behavior. For example, when you have a little baby who's like 6 months old, if they're tapping on a chair, you're like, great job drumming, right? But when you have a 4-year-old drumming like at church, that's not, we shouldn't be reinforcing it. So now we're going to try to have an alternative. Alternative, it could be something that is different, so they can't shout and ask at the same time. So alternative is they can't do it at the same time. So if I'm raising my hand, I can't raise my hand to get your attention and maybe drum on this here at the same time. So instead of drumming, if I want to get your attention instead of drumming, I'm going to raise my hand, okay? So it's an alternative. It's another way to grab the attention, to try to redirect how they can get your attention, okay? The next one, it's a little bit different, and I love the example that I'm going to tell you after this slide. It's called DRO, other behavior. So you're reinforcing any other behavior, okay? So here it says the child repeatedly leaves his seat during dinner time. الطفل بيقوم من على الأكل كل ما نيجي ناكل بيقوم. So the parent would set up a timer for 10 minutes. If the child does not leave his seat during this time, he's rewarded with television time following dinner. He could be singing, eating, talking, or doing anything. So the one thing we're avoiding in here is what? Leaving the table. So I don't want the child to leave the dinner table. I don't care if he's eating, but at least قاعد معانا على dinner table. He could sing, he could talk, he could draw, it doesn't matter. But reinforcing إن إحنا هو قاعد معانا على dinner table, okay? We have to think, what is it that we want to focus? Do we want to focus on a child eating dinner? Or do we want to focus on a child sitting with us at dinner? Because those are two different things. If we want to focus on eating dinner, then I might have the child maybe watch an iPad and eat dinner, and I only present the iPad during that food time, if we are focusing on food intake. If we are focusing on sitting with the family and spending time together, then it's okay. ممكن يقعد يرنم، ممكن يرسم، ممكن يتكلم، ممكن يبقى قاعد ساكت، ممكن يبقى حاطط راسه على الترابيزة. It doesn't matter. But I'm reinforcing إن هو قاعد معانا. Very good. Okay, this is my example. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So it says a wife is craving her favorite steak, not in the apostles' fasting, and she is very hungry. She chooses to do her hair like this. So she's choosing her hair like this. Husband says, no, fix your hair any other way so we can go to dinner. Okay? So what is the husband avoiding? This very lovely looking hairstyle. Okay? The dinner is the reward for the wife. So other behaviors could be any of these. She could do curly hair, braids, ponytail, straight hair, wavy, whatever, right? But the husband wants to avoid this look. Okay? We have to think. Sometimes we want our child to be an angel, and now that they don't eat dinner, they don't even sit with us at table, and we want them to sit at table, eat finish their food, and then we're frustrated. Okay, well, those are different behaviors. My daughter struggles with food, and those of you that know me, she does. Okay, so during food time, I do give her an iPad, and I'm so against technology, but during food time only, she gets an iPad. But when she's not biting, when she's not eating and chewing, iPad stops, iPad is put away. So now I did something called pairing, which I put something she loves, which is the iPad, with food. So now she wants to eat because she wants to watch the iPad, okay? I only put the iPad out during the food, and if she's full, iPad is gone. And if she's not eating, iPad is gone. So sometimes you have to give in a little bit because it's something I was so against, no iPad, she shouldn't be eating and watching, but now she wasn't eating at all. Like she wasn't eating anything during the whole entire day. Okay, so now if I want her to sit with us at dinner table, maybe I give her some chips and she sits with us and we're all talking and having fun. She doesn't have to eat her nutritious food. Okay, so we have to think which behavior we are focusing on. I'm very close to finishing and then we have a little break. Okay, so this is a big thing that sometimes we forget. this is يعني it might relate to you as a parent, it might relate to a child that you know and their parents are embarrassed to share this information with you. Okay, we'll do an activity in the workshop to kind of talk a little bit about this because it's huge in our community. Being aware of what your patient has or their symptoms. Okay, for example, if a child has ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, they may be constantly distracted. Perhaps they need to be in a distraction-free space to do work. Okay, ماشي. لو احنا قاعدين وانا ابني او بنتي او ابن زميلتي عنده طفل عنده ADHD, they might not share this information with you, and that's okay. But now you at least know that they need to be in a distraction-free space. لو هم قاعدين في حته فيها اطفال كتيره واباء كتيره وحد مولع التلفزيون وحد بيتكلم وحد whatever, they're not going to be able to listen and they might actually start misbehaving. So if your child or a child that you know is kind of showing some of those symptoms, kind of just think about it and how you sometimes وشنا بيبقى telling a lot, so kind of be like, you know, a little bit compassionate because a parent might be embarrassed to share that their child has the ADHD, but it's good to be aware that maybe if they take their child to a different room to kind of relax for a few minutes, that might help them. Also, children with these ASD autism, they use social skills to guide them before new social settings, okay? So it's okay if a parent is walking their child through the steps of maybe using the bathroom وهم عندهم 7 سنين 8 سنين. They need those steps. They need to have mom there, and mom says, do you remember what we talked about? We go to the bathroom, we close the door, we put our pants down, we sit on the toilet. When we're done, we wipe, and then we stand up, pull our pants, you know, wash our hands. كل الخطوات دي, they might need it. So kind of think about that. Also, maybe if your child has like diabetes, pack them sugar-free snacks before gatherings or birthday parties. I do know some people that do that because it's very heartbreaking if your child has diabetes and you show up to a birthday and they can't eat nothing. Because if they eat, they're going to get sick. And they can't eat anything, so the next time, they might not want to come, okay? So pack, يعني if your child has it, pack a snack, or if you're the parent that's hosting and you do know, maybe buy something very small. زي ما بنعمل في الصيام، يعني لو عارفين مثلا في ناس كتيرة ممكن ما تكونش صايمة بس عارفين أسرة أو أسرتين هم اللي صايمين، بنشتري الحاجة ليهم. Kind of try to do that if you do know that a family has a child that has diabetes or a food allergy, because that, يعني I put medical concern, and as a parent, that is a concern. You do think about it a lot before you go anywhere. You're like, الميوزك هتبقى عالية، ابني هيعيط، ابني هيتعصب، هيكون في أطفال كتيرة ما شافهم. You run through those scenarios a lot. I know when my daughter was younger, I used to run all the scenarios. Well, what if this happens? What if that happens? And you're concerned about it. It's not a condition. It's to the parent, it's truly a concern. يعني بتبقى الحاجة اللي شغلة الأب والأم المدة كلها. So I do ask for you, if you're hosting a family وعندهم طفل عنده أي حاجة من الconditions دي, not embarrass them. هو أنت عندك السكر؟ هو أنت عندك... No, don't ask them. Just, يعني if you see that they're a 5-year-old not eating cake, well, why do you think they're not eating cake? يعني like kids love cake, you know? So kind of be cognitive of those things, okay? If you're the parent, be your child's advocate. Remind them that they need to take a break. لو هما مثلا عندهم ADHD and you feel like they're getting too hyper, kind of try to go lightly and be like, do you need to take a break? Or if they have had problems with using the bathroom, I know some people that, like some children that get UTIs, they are terrified of using the bathroom. And I do know a friend like that, her daughter cannot go to the bathroom because she starts getting seizures. When she goes to use the bathroom, she'll get a seizure. So her daughter, who is 6 years old, she is completely terrified of going to the bathroom. So the mom has to kind of calm her down and say, mommy's going to be with you, because the daughter is afraid she's going to get a seizure in the bathroom by herself and, you know, get super sick. So be their advocate, be there for them. Next, teach them ways to cope with their areas of need. This is one that I'm using with my daughter now. There is a book I can share if anybody needs it. It's called Breathe Like a Bear. And it's breathing techniques. Kids get angry just like adults do. So this is a technique I do with my daughter, which is called blowing candles. We just did a road trip to the monastery and we did blow candles in a car because it was a lot, you know, the drive was a lot. So blowing candles is you have, you know, I put 5 candles or I put 10 candles and she has to blow them. So it's kind of taking deep breath. And if I still see that she's angry, I still do it more. Because when you tell a little child, take deep breaths, they don't know what that means. But if you pretend that you have candles and it's like, I have candles, blow the candles. And then now they have to physically do it, and you put your finger down as they blow the candle. Next, model to them how they behave appropriately. I personally was guilty of this. One time I was at church preparing Sunday school lesson because I didn't do it at home. I don't, because I have a 3-year-old. I pulled out my phone to try to go through my lesson. I know some of us have done it. And the little girl, not my daughter, a little girl, 7 years old, she was sitting next to me. What did she do next? Pulled out her phone. She saw me pull out my phone. She doesn't know I'm preparing a lesson. I didn't tell her. She saw I pulled out my phone, and she pulled out her phone. So the only way for me to get her to put her phone away was for me to put my phone away. I can't tell her, put your phone away. She doesn't understand I'm preparing a lesson. Well, why didn't you do it at home? Well, why didn't you print it out? So model, model, model. If they see you disrespecting your mom or your dad, they're going to disrespect you. If they see you talking at church, they're going to talk at church. If they see you're always unorganized and your stuff is all over, they're going to be like that. So model to them how you want them to be, okay? Not tell them, because our children are going to do what we do, not what we want them to do, okay? So this is it for now. These are some of the resources I used. I do have a workshop. It's not going to take too long, so we'll take a little break, I believe, for about 15 minutes, and then we'll come back, do the workshop. You do need your phones for the workshop if you have them, which I'm sure everybody does. And you might want to sit a little bit closer because there's going to be a code to scan on the screen. So, okay.